Hello guys, I am back. This is the video of my playoff predictions. Now, warning ahead, this video is pretty butt quality, especially the way there's a black bar on the left. It's really messy. This is my first video back. I'm sorry for the poor production, but please try to watch the video. If you want, just skip through all of my predictions. And as these NFL playoffs progress, we'll be taking a look at how my predictions age. I love y'all, and just get ready to watch. And I am back. It's been a long time. I'm very sorry for not uploading. I don't even know who I'm saying sorry to. Have no viewers. But, I mean, that's the point of a passion project. I'm not supposed to be doing this for other people. I'm supposed to be doing this for me. But I decided, as you can see, the setup is a little different. I decided what a better time to return than now, since I've officially completed my new setup. So let's just go into the video. And today's video is obviously about the playoff picture. I don't know why I have this old one up. The playoffs are a lot different than what everybody has been seeing, or what everybody predicted. Sorry, it's still a little bit rusty, but I think this is the accurate one. Yeah, this is. So we're gonna be just using this for now. I'm gonna be going through some stats, maybe. But this is just going to be a little return video, a quick rundown of my predictions for the NFL playoffs. I'm going to give you guys 3 predictions. And I think, hopefully, within the next month, I want to release 2 more videos. One on the Premier League or Champions League, and another on the NBA. So hopefully we can get those going soon. But for now, let's get into our NFL playoffs breakdown. So I want to start by saying that I think this right now, I know that this is going to be the hardest playoffs to predict and probably ever, to be honest. A lot of these teams have either glaring holes in, like their structure, or they're just not, like, you're just not confident in them. So I'm going to start with let's see if we can open this up a little bit more. I'm going to start with no, thank you. I do not. No. Dang, do I really need, okay. Okay, no, this is the wrong one. All right. Can we please get a good NFL playoffs 2026? All right. Can I open this one? I can open this one. Hopefully this isn't copyright or anything. Let's see. Open image, new tab. That is so disappointing. You know what? Screw it. Copyright or not, we're just going to go off of this. We're going to hide Mr. JB's name. So, let's start off with the West side. The Steelers, very gritty team. Honestly, if they were facing like the Bills or the Chargers, I'd pick the Steelers, but I think the Texans are like the dark horse of this whole playoffs. I actually see a scenario where they win the whole thing. I think their defense is very dominant. Their offense isn't the best, but it's definitely good enough to win them some games. CJ Stroud, whenever he's turned on, definitely the Steelers' defense is going to be something to... I think this is definitely a defensive battle. The Steelers' defense is going to be a problem for the Texans' offense. It's not like the Texans are a super-powered offensive team, but I think when you have 2 defensive matchups, it just comes down to which offense is going to come up with the bigger moments, and I think the Texans easily have that with C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins, and then you have Woody Marks in the backfield. I just don't see the Steelers winning at all. Like, I really don't see them winning. honestly shocking enough that they're even in this situation in the first place. I mean, they're here off of a missed kick, but hey, that's just how the game rolls. I have the Texans moving on. Next we have the Bills and the Jaguars. This is Josh Allen's chance. Lamar's not in the playoffs. Mahomes not in the playoffs. Burrow's not in the playoffs. He's the only one out of the big four in the AFC to make it. Unfortunately, the Bills are very subpar, just like his counterparts this year. Although they are the ones who've made it to the playoffs, I don't think they will be making it past the Jaguars. I don't know how the Jaguars are doing injury-wise, but at their peak, I think the Jaguars are actually like a very, very well-rounded team. I think Trevor Lawrence, wow, very questionable. I think he makes a lot of big plays. Travis Etienne having a bit of a bounce back year this year. He seemed to be very reliable this year. The only problem with Jacksonville for me is how that wide receiver core is going to fare out. If Brian Thomas Jr. is going to perform like he did last year, or is he going to perform like he's done for most of this year, which has been very subpar. Let's check up on Travis Hunter. Maybe actually, let's check up Travis Hunter injury update. Yeah, season-ending surgery. So, again, it really just depends. I think the Jacksonville defense is pretty decent. Travis Hunter missing is definitely going to be a very big part of them not going to be able to recuperate. But I honestly think Trevor Lawrence can will them over a Bills team. I think they could will them over Josh Allen. I do think, though, well, I don't think, but I want to say, though, that maybe Josh Allen is going to come in with a little bit more motivation since he's the last of the four. So, you know what? I'm going to lean towards the Bills on this one, but don't expect Jacksonville to just let them have it just because it's Josh Allen. I really do think that the Jaguars could even not blow out, but I think they could dominate this game against the Bills if they play it the right way. And last but not least, for the first round of the AFC, we have the Patriots versus the Chargers. Now, the Chargers are very banged up on that old line. I don't know how much they've recovered. Let's check how much they've recovered, but honestly, I don't think it's going to be pretty either way. I mean, yeah. Joe Altman, Rashad Lynn. This is just AI overview. I really don't know. Let's see the depth chart. Let's check out the ESPN depth chart. And look at that. Omarion Hampton, questionable. Let's go to the O-line here. Yeah. Yeah, Joe Alt's missing. That's big. Look at that. They're at their third string right tackle. Austin Close is questionable. I mean, this has just been a very, very rough year for the Chargers. I really, truly think fully healthy that the Chargers would have easily claimed the number one seed in the AFC this year, fully healthy. But that, unfortunately, just hasn't been the case. But as you can see, this kind of receiving core right here that they've had has been very successful this season, especially with surprises early on from Quentin Johnston and Keenan Allen. I mean, when I checked my phone and I saw Keenan Allen scored a touchdown like the first or second week, I thought he was still on the Bears rotting away. But yeah, no, Keenan Allen is back. Quentin Johnston is actually looking like the first round pick that he's supposed to be. Ladd McConkey had a slow start, but he's been picking it up a little bit, kind of, gaining out of, or kind of like, but that's due to the downfall of Quentin Johnston's stats a little bit. But I feel like this receiving core is definitely good enough to threaten the Patriots secondary. The Patriots do have a pretty solid defense with Christian Gonzalez leading the way. But to be honest, I just don't see the Chargers having a chance. I think the Patriots aren't as good as advertised. I mean, their schedule has been one of the biggest questions. But I feel like even then, I really do like this Patriots team against a banged-up Chargers team. I think with a little bit of a rusty O-line, we'll see if We'll see if Omarion Hampton, sorry, brain fart. We'll see if Omarion Hampton's going to be able to play, but I really do think that the Patriots take this. Not convincingly, though. I think the Chargers are going to make them work for it. So I'd say maybe like a really ugly 24 to 20. 24 10. No. No. 24-21. Patriots barely thug it out. So, with that being said, our next matchups would be the Broncos Bills and Texans Patriots. So, Broncos Bills. Broncos defense is absolutely disgusting. I mean, if you've watched the Broncos, man, that defense is amazing, and that offense is good. The offense isn't good, great, nothing outstanding. Or the offense is good, not great, nothing outstanding. Bo Nix is good enough. Cortland Sutton has been good enough, and RJ Harvey has been heating up a little bit. Might be something to worry about. Their O-line, very solid, very nice. The receiving core's a little bit on the, worst end. Definitely the worst end of this playoffs, or out of teams in the playoffs. But their defense is creme de la creme. And I think Josh Allen, with how much he's been struggling to get his offense going along with him, I definitely see the Broncos dominating this matchup. I don't think it's close either. You know what? I'm going to say it right here, right now. Look at me when I say this. Broncos 31, Bills 13. This is going to be ugly for Josh Allen. And, we're going to have some uncomfortable conversations because even though maybe it's not fully Josh Allen's fault, I do believe that if you're a part of the Big Four like Josh Allen is, you need to show us something, and I just don't think Josh Allen is going to be able to show us something this playoffs. I think he's out the second round. I think the Broncos beat him very convincingly, and it's going to be a sad goodbye for Josh Allen on his way home. Maybe they can build it back up next year, but I think by next year, a lot of teams that missed the playoffs this year are also going to be able to build it back up, and I don't think Josh Allen's going to be able to compete with the likes of a Lamar Jackson, whose Ravens team is healthy all season. I don't think they're going to be able to compete with a Joe Burrow if they draft Caleb Downs next year to improve the defense. I don't think they're going to be able to compete with a healthy Joe Burrow with this team. I don't know if Mahomes comes back next year. I don't really think he's going to come back at the start of the year for Mahomes. Torn ACL is while it's not really career-ending anymore, it's still a very big injury. The only reason why it's not career-ending is because now we know how to actually, heal from it, but that does take a long time if we want to fully heal from it. I mean, look at Kevin Durant. So I'd go as far as to say Mahomes will miss all of the next season if that's what it really takes. So maybe they don't have to worry about Mahomes, but then now you have to worry about a red-hot Broncos team who's just gotten the first seed last year. The offense is good, but the defense is amazing. Some might even say generational for some teams. Well, not the Broncos, because the Broncos did have the no-fly zone a couple years back. Well, not a couple years back, but some years back. But for other teams, this would be a generational defense to have. And the Broncos have just struck gold constantly on defense. And I really don't think, outside of this year, Josh Allen in the next 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, maybe even 10 years is going to have this weak of an AFC, and it's just very unfortunate that his team is weak. And now let's move on to the Texans and Patriots, and this is might ruffle some feathers. I don't see the Patriots winning a matchup against the Texans. The Texans are too gritty, they're too tough, they're too... the Texans, when you watch the Texans, they want it more. They want it more. Whenever this Texans team is hungry, they're doubted. They've had some hardships along this season for sure, and they've secured their spot in the playoffs. And now for them, it's time to prove everybody wrong. I think this defense I don't think Drake May has seen a defense this good. The Texans' defense, in my opinion, is right behind the Broncos' defense. They have Derek Stingley. They have Will Anderson. Man, they have a great middle linebacker core. That secondary led by, of course, Jerry Sling Jr. is looking phenomenal. I really think this defense is going to be able to overpower the Patriots. I think Drake May's definitely, of course, experience, of course. I'm not saying Drake May's a fraud or the Patriots are frauds. I just don't think this Patriots team is experienced enough to go against a great defense like that, especially when you haven't played that many good defenses or teams in the regular season. And this is going to be something new for them. And same goes for their defense. I don't think and while the Texans don't have the best defense, I don't think they've played wide receivers that are on Nico Collins' caliber. Christian Gonzalez hasn't, at least. I don't think they've played a quarterback as seasoned as CJ Stroud. Well, he might not be in his peak form. I might not be still getting there. CJ Stroud's this is his third year in the NFL, and he's definitely shown that even though, maybe he's not the greatest right now, he definitely has that experience. He's more poised, he's more calm. I don't think they've seen a poised, experienced quarterback like CJ Stroud. I don't think they've seen a receiver and playmaker in Nico Collins. I don't think they've seen maybe, who knows, maybe they might bust out Jaden Higgins. Maybe Woody Marks in the running game has a very nice game led behind that solid old line. I really do think the Texans show the Patriots a different level this game, and I'm going to say it's a very ugly win. I'm going to say it's Texans 17-13 defensive masterclass by the Texans right now. And now we have Texans Broncos, and honestly, man, the Broncos, the defense. I think if I were to choose whose defense is better, I'd say the Broncos. If I were to choose whose offense is better, they're honestly the same. The only thing that I'd say is that CJ Stroud and Nico Collins are better than Bo Nix, but the gap isn't large enough for it to be like a difference maker. I think Bo Nix, and I don't know how to put it into words. Let's say there's a gap between this is the Broncos defense, this is the Texans defense. This is the Texans offense, this is the Broncos offense. The Broncos offense, well, down here, is facing a Texans offense that's really good, but it's also right below, right? And while the Texans have offense that's above the Broncos, which are down here, they're facing a defense that's right up there. And me personally, I think the Broncos definitely have. I like RJ Harvey. I like their O-line. I think they're going to be able to protect Bo Nix enough to where he can make the smartest decisions for him. I think maybe he's going to use Cortland Sutton a lot. If not, he's going to use Marvin Mims a lot. He does have Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram has been good when he's needed to be this season. I do think the Broncos have more pieces to work with on offense, and I do think the Broncos take this game. I think the Texans are going to make them work for it, but I think the Broncos are going to show levels. Not levels. I think the Broncos are definitely going to get away with this one comfortably towards the end. I think the first half is really going to test the Broncos. I think after the first half, I think the Broncos are just going to pull away with it. I'm going to say 31-21 Broncos, and the Broncos are your AFC champions. Moving on to the NFC. Oh boy. Oh boy. I just want to start off Rams Panthers, and some may call me crazy. Some may call me stupid. But they're not going to call me that today. Give me the Rams. I'm going to be honest. I do see a world where the Panthers beat the Rams. I do see a world where the Panthers make the NFC Championship. I do see the Panthers winning the Super Bowl. Yes, I said it. The Panthers could win the Super Bowl. And I don't mean mathematically. I mean in a prediction. I can see a world. I can envision a world. I'm closing my eyes. Bryce Young lifting the Lombardi Trophy, but I'm here to give good takes, not outrageous takes. So just give me the Rams. I know the Panthers beat the Rams in the early on in the regular season, and this is a big reason why I really could choose the Panthers right now. But I'm gonna go with the Rams. Puka Nakua's back, healthy, looks amazing, man. Really just a toss up between him and JSN. I wouldn't be mad at you for choosing either or, but I really think Puka Nakua, man. Devontae Adams, I think he's gonna be healthy. Let me check actually. Yeah, clear to play, and I mean, man, that wide receiver core is nasty. Devontae and Puka and Matthew Stafford's been slinging that ball all year, and oh wait, the Panthers got a lot coming for them, and of course they lost, so the Rams are gonna be out for a little bit of revenge from the regular season. You got Kyron Lacey in the backfield; he's always been very productive, and then on the defensive side of things for the Rams, you have that Rams D line, Jared Verse, man, it's a train. Like I said, that Rams D line's solid. We do know that Bryce Young under pressure, not the best. I do think the secondary of the Rams can be exploited a little bit. It's not the best, but I wouldn't say it's anywhere near the worst either, though. I'd say they're somewhere in the middle, maybe on the lower end. I do think Bryce Young on his day could exploit that Rams secondary, but unfortunately, it's just not his day a lot of the times. But hey, the Panthers have gotten in here. This is how the Panthers win. I think Bryce Young being able to hit Tet is going to be very substantial, especially on those playmaking abilities. I think him using Jalen Coker, him using Xavier Legette, Rico Dowell and Chuba Hubbard getting good touches. I think that this offense, I don't see the defense slowing down this Rams offense right now, but I do see the offense maybe being able to keep up with the Rams defense, but that's on the very hopeful side. Realistically, the Rams win this 35-14. That's really how I see it right now, 35-14. But you saw it here first. You heard it here first. Don't be surprised if the Panthers win the championship. If the Panthers are your Super Bowl 60 Lombardi champion. It's Super Bowl 60, right? It's Super Bowl 60, right? Man, that note. I got some fat fingers, bro. Super Bowl 60. If your Panthers are the Super Bowl 60 NFL champions, you officially, no jokes, this is a prediction. You heard it here first. I'm the one that is saying the Panthers have a window where they can win the championship this year, and that's not off mathematically since they're technically in the playoffs and every playoff team technically has a chance. No, I see 3 to 5 teams that can win the Super Bowl this year, and the Panthers are one of them. So don't be scared of it. Be aware of it. But let's move on. We have 49ers, Eagles. I'm just going to preface it by saying this shortly. This Eagles team is trash. This Eagles team is horrible. They're very uncoordinated, unfunctional. And honestly, it's not even on an individual talent standpoint, because individually, man, that team is stacked. But the offensive coordinators, doesn't know how to run that offense. Jalen Hurts, it's either he can't throw the ball, he's scared to throw the ball, or man, that offensive coordinator is just absolutely stinky. Saquon Barkley's been slow. But luckily for them, they're playing a kind of injured San Francisco 49ers team. But unfortunately for them, that San Francisco 49ers team has been handling these injuries really well. When I say really well, I say really well. The offense has still been productive. The defense has still been able to keep up with some of the better teams they've played this season without Fred Warner, without a Joey Bosa. And I think this 49ers team is going to beat the Eagles convincingly. I'm going to say it here, convincingly. It's not going to be close. I think the Eagles are definitely, in the first half, they're going to be able to keep up, but it's not going to be by a lot. It's not going to be convincing. It's not going to be by question. By halftime, it's going to be, well, when are the 49ers going to pull away? And guess what? They're going to pull away 31-17, and they're going to be moving on to the second round. You heard it here first. Green Bay, we probably didn't hear that first. I think a lot of people have the Niners over the Eagles. I'm just another one of those people. But you did hear that Panthers take first. You did. And don't forget it. Don't forget it. 72? Wow. Moving on to the last game of the first round, Bears versus Packers. I think if the Packers had Micah Parsons, this is a no-brainer. The Packers defense will be able to overwhelm them. I really, really, really like this Bears team. Not saying that the Bears are great. That they're one of the better teams in the playoffs. I do think this Bears team has also been very lucky, but I really like this Bears team in this playoff format. And with all the teams in the playoffs, I do believe that the Bears are some of the better teams. And luckily, it's a down year for the NFL as a whole, so why not? Let's get the Bears moving on to the second round. I think Caleb Williams is going to have some big-time plays in this game. I think Jordan Love is going to have some big-time plays in this game. If I'm going to be honest, I think it's a shootout. I think it's a shootout. I don't care about the quality of these two defenses. I don't care that Micah Parsons is out because guess what? The Green Bay Packers are still a great defense. But guess what? I don't care that they're still a great defense. I don't care that the Bears have been keeping up defensively with some other teams. I don't care about that. This is going to be an absolute shootout. This is going to be the most entertaining game in the first round. It's a division rivalry matchup, and I promise you things are going to get ugly and things are going to get very entertaining. Give me the Bears. 38-35 in an absolute all-time classic and a Caleb Williams masterclass. You heard it here first. Caleb Williams is probably going to have the best performance in this playoffs in the first round against the Packers. The Bears move on. Now we have the LA Rams versus the Bears, and we have the Niners versus the Seahawks. Hey, let's just do what we do best. Let's just stick it to a safe. Well, I actually don't stick to a lot of things safe, but we're going to stick it to a safe here. I think the Seahawks beat the Niners. It's going to be very competitive, though. Going to be very, very, very competitive. I think the Seahawks beat the Niners by a smidge. I think JSN, hopefully for the Seahawks, is going to be able to produce like he has been. If not, they always have Kenneth Walker in the backfield. They can always toss it to Barner, their tight end. They have Rashid Shaheed that they can toss it to if they need a deep threat, if they need a really big play. Rashid Shaheed is a nice playmaker. He has that playmaking speed. So I do think, and the Seahawks defense, one of the more premier defenses in this playoffs, I'd say they have their top 5 defense in the playoffs. I really like their secondary, a young, nice secondary. I think their pass rushing has been pretty decent this year. I think that overall, the Seattle Seahawks are probably the most well-rounded team in this playoffs. Their defense, while being one of the more premier ones, isn't as good as the Broncos or Texans, but their offense blows those two teams, in my opinion, out of the water. So sorry, San Francisco. I think you're going to put up a fight. I think this is going to be a close game, but I think when it's all settled and done, we're going to be looking at ourselves and we're going to be like, you know what? I knew it. The Seahawks are going to win, and it's going to be by 7 points. I think the Seahawks win this game 28-21. Pretty, not convincingly, but just enough to where it's like, oh, they didn't get lucky. If this happened, this happened. It's going to be like, no, that's just how the cookie crumbles, and the Seahawks won when the cookie was done crumbling, right? Boom. That was a trash analogy. But let's go move on to the Bears and Rams. I believe the Bears and dang, I cannot remember the schedule for some reason. Bears and Rams definitely played though this year. I think the Bears may have won. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, the Bears did win. Okay. No, this is very old. I guess they didn't. I swear the whatever doesn't matter. I think I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna choose right now, and don't quote me on this. This game is, man, I don't know, man. You know what? Nah, I do know. It's gonna be the Rams. I think the Rams are gonna win. I think Caleb Williams again, very, 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 very talented, very young. This whole team very young, very energetic. I wouldn't necessarily say hungry. I'd say excited. I'd say challenging, very bold. That wide receiver core is going to destroy them. That wide receiver core is going to eat that Bears secondary alive. I did say the Bears were a solid defense. I didn't say solid. I said they can keep up with other defenses. They're not keeping up with that offense. I'm sorry, when that Bears defense sees Puka Nacua on one side, Devontae Adams on the other side, they see Matthew Stafford under center with Kyren Williams in the back and maybe even Blake Corum if Kyren Williams is tired. That's a nightmare for any defense that is not elite in the playoffs. That's a nightmare. An absolute nightmare. And you know what? I'm going to say it. Caleb Williams is going to fold under the lights. There's going to be a point in this third quarter where it's a close game where it looks like the Bears can win, and guess what he does? He makes a costly mistake, maybe even a turnover, maybe even an interception, and it costs them the game, and they lose pretty convincingly. You know what the end score is going to be? The end score is going to be 31-14. The Rams steamrolled them. 31-14 or 31-21. The Rams steam past them. And now we're going to go on. We're going to go Seahawks Rams. This is going to be an absolutely amazing game. The Rams won earlier in the season. The Seahawks punched back with the late game overtime winner. Who's going to take the third and final battle? The battle of the best wide receivers. Puka, JSN. The battle of the young defenses, the Seattle young secondary, the Rams young D-line, the battle of the NFC Pro Bowlers. Sam Darnold, a man who has revived his career through these past 3 years, versus a Matthew Stafford who is old and aging like fine wine, who might even win MVP this year. He's my MVP. And all I have to say to that is, when you have JSN, when you have an amazing Sam Darnold, when you have a young defense, when you have the weapons that the Seahawks have, you don't lose. You don't lose unless a team has that and more. Now, I'm not saying the Rams defense is better than the Seahawks defense. I never said that. I never said that, but that offense is so elite, so much better. I'm pretty sure Devontae Adams was missing against the Seahawks, and I do think Devontae Adams coming back is going to be a big help for the Rams. Give me the Rams, and you know what? They're not going to make it. They're not going to make it close. Well, I mean, it's going to be, close game. Two great teams, but they're not going to make it easy. They're going to make it hard. They're going to put everything they have into this game, and I have the Rams winning 34-21. You heard it here first. I think Sam Darnold in big games, I don't think he's that guy. He's great regular season. I don't know how he's going to be in the playoffs. You know what I do know? I do know Matthew Stafford is going for 304 touchdowns. I do know that Puka's going to get 100 yards. I do know that Devontae Adams is going to get himself a little touchdown. I do know that Kyren Williams might get himself a little touchdown. I do know that Blake Corum might have 40 yards as the backup running back. I do know that offense is going to be firing on all cylinders when it matters most. And most importantly, I do know that the Rams can put up more points than the Seahawks when fully healthy. This Rams team is going to show levels with Devontae Adams back. And I'm telling you here first, 34-21, we're not getting a Super Bowl. Which Super Bowl is that again? We're not getting a Super Bowl 48 rematch. We're not. And it comes down to the Broncos versus the Rams. And your 2025-2026 Super Bowl 60 NFL champions are, drumroll please, I'm getting a call. Don't know who that is. All right. The Los Angeles Rams is what I would say if that Denver Broncos defense wasn't so elite. I don't care that the Broncos are inexperienced. I don't care that they're young. I think Patrick Surtain is going to absolutely terrorize Puka Nacua. They love playing man. I think this Rams team is definitely more effective in zone. I think Puka could outshine Patrick Surtain in a 1v1 matchup, but I'm just not seeing it. I could see a world where it happens, but 9 times out of 10, I think Patrick Surtain has that on locks. I think the secondary has all that on locks. This defense is the perfect team to combat that powerful Rams offense, and I do think that Courtland Sutton and R.J. Harvey and Bo Nix and Marvin Mims are good enough to get the job done against that Rams defense. And I do think that the Broncos win. Not easy, though. I think that the final score is going to be 24-28 Broncos. And it's going to end in heartbreak for the Rams. I think that it's going to end on a Rams drive where the Broncos are just not letting it happen on defense. They're not letting Puka get the ball. They're not letting Devontae get the ball. They're shutting down. They're stuffing the run. Matthew Stafford's going to feel pressure. And I think the Broncos are your Super Bowl 60 champions. And I think there is a new reigning champion in the AFC West. Those are my predictions for the 2025-2026 NFL playoffs. Like down below if you like the video. Comment your thoughts. This has been Miles Talk Sports. Finally returning after what seems like a very, very long time. Even have to wipe off some dust from this webcam. And I love you all. To the very few people that are watching this. And I will be back sooner or later. Definitely within this month. And I want to make a dedication to myself. This new year, I want to post 30 videos. So that's about 2 to 3 a month. I think that's a very healthy uploading schedule, especially for someone like me starting out. Hopefully over the summer I can grind a lot, but unfortunately over the summer there's not a lot of sports. So, but yeah, it's been Miles Talk Sports, and see y'all later.